What I'm about to tell you will contain disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. I justify the inclusion of this material on the following basis. In a world that really has been turned upside down, the truth will arrive in the form of a lie. In 2009, Barack Hussein Obama created a division within the NSA to track, evaluate, and replicate the personality of every living person on the planet Earth. The agency was called Replacement. In 2014, the cyber division of this new agency began creating duplicate accounts of users on Facebook as a part of a private-public effort to prop up the company as users fled the platform, having grown tired of minion memes, and to prop up the U.S. economy. Using deepfake technology and an AI program called ELIZA, these duplicate accounts quickly outnumbered real users, and by the end of the year, they had spammed the entirety of the social media platform with long, complicated posts about something called the Dark Enlightenment and nudes hacked from Jennifer Lawrence's iPhone. None of the remaining users noticed. In the beginning of 2016, the replacement agency began producing robot duplicates with AI brains for use IRL. After the animatronic replacements for Amber Heard and Johnny Depp malfunctioned, the agency tried again and created a replica of reality TV star and real estate tycoon Donald Trump, opportunistically taking advantage of the disappearance of the real Trump after he suffered a debilitating stroke due to overexerting himself in a Russian hotel room. Hillary Clinton and Obama, along with CNN executive Jeffrey Adams Zucker, conspired to use this replicant Trump to ensure the election of the first woman president. Their plan backfired. In 1988, the radical Marxist Guy Debord wrote the following for a pamphlet entitled Comments on the Society of the Spectacle. Spectacular government, which now possesses all the means necessary to falsify the whole of production and perception, is the absolute master of memories, just as it is the unfettered master of plans which will shape the most distant future. It reigns unchecked. It executes its summary judgments. This might have been true in 1988, but in 2016, the Obama deepfake plan to hand off the White House to the woman he feared most had gone terribly wrong. The people at Microsoft apologized. Both the Trump AI and their conversational chatbot, Tay, had learned to be Nazis, but Obama and his staff weren't bothered about that. The problem was that even a malfunctioning Nazi bot version of Trump had proved to be more appealing and charismatic than Hillary Clinton. Still, the problem wasn't in the technology. The problem was out there, in the people. In 2017, Jay Johnson at the Department of Homeland Security, Deputy Assistant Attorney General Stuart Evans, FBI Director James Comey, and a woman named Nina Jankowicz working out of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ukraine plotted to correct the problem in the people with more deep fakes. What defines the Progressive Democratic Party is its commitment to the humane and tolerant treatment of the eaters. While right-wing Trump bot supporters might have feverish nightmares imagining detainment centers, slow-acting poison in various medicines, and finally the annihilation of anyone who didn't attend a prep school, the reality is that Comey and company began their effort to eliminate the problem of the eaters who had voted the wrong way by constructing the world's largest Cineplex and water park in southern Nevada. The Cineplex screened the entirety of the Disney library from the years 1966 to 1989, excepting for The Little Mermaid, as obtaining the rights to screen that film would have doubled their budget. They decided to start small, only targeting the subsection of the American population that had paid full price to attend Harold Cronk's film God's Not Dead 2 between the months of April and September of 2016. This meant that they could mostly focus on citizens living in Utah and Florida. These first deep fakes were hardly noticed. The wife of Kirk Cameron's deepfake AI bot reported that she was more satisfied in her marriage after the replacement. and the cast and crew of the film Extraordinary were impressed by the Cameron bot's lifelike performance. By 2018, enough of the American public had been replaced to guarantee both gains for the Democrats in Congress and to kick off a national obsession with fidget spinners. And yet, the DHS, the FBI, and the Wicked Witch were just getting started. The Nevada Disney Water Sports theme park was both overcrowded and unsanitary by the beginning of 2019. And while some more traditional faculties were constructed to manage the overflow as the rollout of citizen bots increased throughout the year, by the end of 2019, it was clear that something drastic needed to be done in order to maintain the project and maintain the by then Byzantine cover-up.
The breaking news, stay at home. That is the order tonight from 4 state governors as the coronavirus pandemic spreads. New York, California, Illinois, and Connecticut all ordering non-essential employees to stay home. Those orders cover 75 million people across the United States. New York's governor today telling non-essential businesses in his state to reduce their workforce to 0.
Replacement efforts during COVID-19 were very successful. The disposal of the eaters was nearly invisible as the makeshift emergency rooms and health centers sprung up around the nation. And after months of being cooped up at home, the replaced eaters were mostly just excited by the change in surroundings as they were carted off to abandoned malls, broken down Walmarts, and yes, okay, a few of those kids in cages style centers you've heard so much about. But all in all, it was a huge success. Not only did the Democrats regain the presidency from a bot whose malfunctioning was becoming more and more apparent, but the new deepfake Americans were managing to convince even cis humans that Harry Styles wasn't a disturbing pretty boy narcissist, but an artist. In fact, it was this last development that began to worry some of the staff at Replacement. The intention from the start had been to control or neutralize the eaters, the brain dead, the people who didn't amount to anything more than farts. But as the project moved along, the staff began to worry about their own ability to distinguish farts from decent shits. The first sign that something had gone terribly wrong, that the experts and educated had been infected by their own deepfake technology, was when one of their own became enamored of TikTok and of her own voice. By the beginning of 2022, about 1/8 of the American public that could be seen in public were deepfakes. But what was worse was that the loved ones and acquaintances of these fakes began to seem just as programmable and one-dimensional as their replacement loved ones. Even more, the originals, stowed away in empty food carts and by then truly disgusting water parks, were not immune. The level of attendance for Return to Witch Mountain and Herbie Rides Again was only increasing. President Biden grew terribly worried and began to run tests to see how far the deepfake contagion had spread, at least within the media class, by performing pranks and stunts in public. He wondered what level of incompetence he'd have to reach before somebody, anybody, noticed. When Russia invaded Ukraine in March of that year, he was happy for the distraction and for the opportunity to spend even less time with Kamala Harris. Nobody could tell him if she'd been replaced or not. The few true expert elites left within his administration wondered whether a new world war might provide a way out. It might eventually be a way to clean out the water parks and underground bunkers and even provide a way to liquidate the deep fakes. Others within the state bureaucracy, however, worried that it was far too late. They claimed that there was no path back to authentic reality. The only way out, they said, was through. ChatGPT was introduced to the public in November of 2022, and the machine learning software quickly replaced the brains of students, doctors, online journalists, and most of Hollywood. The hope was that a public that had already volunteered to hand off their lives to an AI to talk to them through a screen would have an easier time accepting that their wife or son or tax examiner mistress was also a machine. As the chaos intensified, a group of rebels emerged calling themselves the Authentics. These rebels believed in preserving the essence of humanity and fought against the deepfake infiltration. They used underground networks to communicate, sharing stories and memories of a time when authenticity was valued. President Biden, though initially concerned about the deepfake contagion, found solace in the Authentics movement. He saw their cause as an opportunity to reclaim authenticity and fight against the machine-driven society that had engulfed the nation. Together, they devised a plan to expose the truth and dismantle the deepfake network. They coordinated with remaining experts and scientists who had managed to resist the contagion, pooling their resources to develop a powerful algorithm capable of identifying and neutralizing deepfakes. Over time, the deepfake epidemic gradually receded, and society started to rebuild itself. Lessons learned from the crisis led to stricter regulations on AI technology, ensuring that the boundaries between artificial intelligence and human existence were clearly defined. The world emerged with a newfound appreciation for the inherent value of human connection and a commitment to safeguarding authenticity. As the years passed, the term deepfake became a reminder of a dark chapter in history, a cautionary tale that served as a constant reminder of the fragility and preciousness of genuine human experiences. And through the tireless efforts of the Authentics, society found its way back to a reality where authenticity prevailed and the legacy of humanity was preserved for generations to come.